What's up, Starfield? Coming to you, I wanted to show you guys my Red Baron ship build. She's a beauty. Bi-wing model. A lot different than what you normally are seeing on YouTube with people's ship builds. Call it my Red Baron because it's a bi-wing. Red Baron flew a tri-wing and then a bi-wing model. Beautiful ship, all red and black. Wanted to bring it to you guys and show you how I built it. She's got 100 mobility and a little over 10K in carrying capacity for cargo. So it has just about everything that you could need or want in a ship build. Let's go ahead and see how we do this. All right, guys. Let's go over the list of items that you're going to need to build this ship. You're going to need a lot of items from various different locations throughout Starfield. Soon I'll be posting 2 different pictures with the lists of each item that you're going to need and the number for that specific item that you'll need. Make sure that you take the time to pause the video so you can get screenshots of each, and I'll remind you as the screen shows up. Alright guys, this is going to be the first set of items that you're going to need to pick up. You'll notice that near the mass on each one of these items there's an X with a number next to it. That's going to be the number of that specific item you're going to need to get a hold of to be able to complete this build. Please make sure that you pause this screen, get a screenshot so you can reference later and be able to complete this build without having to go back and purchase these items again. And this here is going to be the second set of items that you're going to need to get a hold of. Again, as you notice near the mass area on each one of these items, you'll see a times number. That's the number of this item specifically that you're going to need to get a hold of to be able to complete this build. Again, make sure that you pause the screen and take a screenshot so that you can reference back to ensure that you have all the parts that you're going to need to complete this build. And then we'll move on to putting together this ship. Alright guys, so now that we've got all the items that we need, I've separated the ship that I built in multiple different sections here, as you can see. And I figure this is probably going to be the best way to be able to explain how to put this together. So for the first section we're going to go over, we will focus on the center, the lower center piece. Okay, first you're going to start with your ship bed 200 landing bay. It's going to be facing the rear. In front of that, you're going to have a Deimos companionway 1x1. Directly in front of that, you're going to use a Hope Tech all-in-one berth 2x1. I'm using a Hope Tech all-in-one berth 2x1 here. You can use whichever you want, whichever variation you prefer. This is just what I used. Right in front of that, I have an AccuLander 11 landing gear. And then I have another one in front of that. And off to the sides, I'm going to have a Nova Wing port. And I've rotated it so I've got a Nova Wing starboard. And in the very front, I'm going to have a Deimos Cowling 4. You notice that I put some missile launchers on here. I didn't add those on the list of items for you to purchase because everybody has their preference on which weapons they prefer to use. Right above that lower level, on the back, top of the landing, you're going to have a Deimos Cowling aft. All I did was take this cowling, you're going to edit it, and you're going to rotate it so that it faces the rear. Place it on the rear. Right in front of that, you're going to have another Deimos companionway 1x1. And then I have a 4x4 here, as you can see, of my cargo holds. I'm using the Galleon S204 cargo holds. Each one of these is 1480 for the cargo. On the top one, you'll see here that I'm putting a Nova radiator, and I'm just mirroring that on the other side. In the front, you'll notice that I have some glitch stuff going on here. I've put 2 Stroud engine bracer Bs on top of my AccuLander 11 landing gear. And then I have Hope Tech pipes 4. Now you'll know that you can't put that in here like this. It won't let you. It gets in the way of the bracers. So if you put this here and you hit Z to flip and Z to flip it back, it still won't let you, but then you hit tab to cancel, it'll place it. It does the same thing on the Xbox. It's different keys. I can't remember exactly which ones they are right now, but it does work. I've used it. Right behind these two Galleoness 204 cargo holds is going to be another Deimos companionway 1x1. And that is going to be your middle section for this ship. Now moving on to the lower wing sections. We'll start with our starboard side. First, we're going to have two Stroud engine bracer A's. They're going to run from the center over to your left or starboard lower wing. On the lower section here, you're going to notice in the back I've got an NG20 landing gear wide. This landing gear is only connected through this Nova bracer. There are no connections to the front here. That goes for both of these. Okay, so you need to make sure that you utilize the right pieces so that they connect to your NG20 landing gears. Otherwise, you're going to have issues with the build. In the front, I'm going to start with a HopeTech thruster. Right behind that, I'm going to have an AccuLander 11 landing gear. Above that, we're going to have our Nova weapon mount. Again, the weapons are your choice. I've got a PB100 neutron and another PB100 neutron beam. Right behind that, I've got a Nova bracer. That Nova bracer is connecting this weapon mount and the NG20 landing gear wide. Okay. On the outside, we're going to have a Deimos Wing A starboard. Right behind my first bracer, we'll have a second bracer, which again connects the NG20 landing gear wide. On the top side of that, we're going to have a Stroud engine bracer B. And then in the back, we're going to have ourselves an SAL 6830 engine. On the inside of the wing, we're going to have a Caravel V101 cargo hold, which will give us an additional 225 for our cargo. And that is going to be our starboard lower wing. Moving on to our port lower wing, or our right lower wing, it's going to be nearly identical, or it is rather identical. The only difference that you'll see here that I forgot to mention on the left side is that I have some Scanjammer multi-frequencies. These are entirely up to you whether or not you want to get them. Other than that, everything is identical to the starboard side. Moving on, we're going to move to our upper section, which is going to include our bridge. I have a Cabot C4 bridge. For whatever reason, I like these bridges. I like them because it has the captain's seat right in the middle, whereas on the other major bridge, you'll notice that the captain's seat is on the, when you're inside, it's on the left side, or the right side if you're looking at it from this angle, will be over here. That's where the captain's seat is. To me, I prefer it in the middle because it just gives you a little bit better view going in here. And then this is also a 2-level bridge. As you'll notice, it's got 2 levels here, which makes it a little bit easier to arrange your all-in-one berthings however you want. You'll see right behind the upper level, I've got a Deimos Captain's Quarters 2x1, and on the lower level, I've got a Deimos Control Station 2x1. On the outside, I'm going to have 2 Nova Cowling 2L PAs. On the left side, I'm going to have 2 Nova Cowling 2L SAs. And then you'll notice in the back here, I have Deimos Wings starboards. You'll have to use the glitch that I showed you earlier to place these, since they are inside the Nova Cowlings. If I remember correctly, you put these first and then do the Nova cowling. On the top, I have the 100 DP Slim Docker. And behind that, this is purely for aesthetics. You don't have to put it here, it's entirely up to you. I've got the Nova engine struts, and then I have a Hope Tech pipes aft connected to it. In the back here, I have a porthole aft on top of my captain's quarters. It's pretty cool. I'll show it when we go through a walkthrough on the inside of the ship. And then I've got a Hope Tech nose B aft, and that's going to complete your upper section for this ship. There we go. Now we're going to get into the more intricate upper level of our Red Baron ship. It's pretty self-explanatory. Just follow along here. You'll see all the parts that I'm utilizing. On the front, we've got a Deimos cowling 4. Right behind that, I've got a Deimos workshop 2x1. Topping that off, I've got a Deimos spine A4 and a Deimos spine C4. To the sides, I'm going to have a Nova wing on the starboard and a Nova wing on the port, with PB 175 Helion beams on the outside of those wings. Behind that, we're going to go with a Deimos Armory 2x1, and then a Deimos Companionway 1x1. And in the rear, it's going to be an SF40 sheared flow reactor. To the port side, we're going to go with a Hope Tech Companionway, and then continue through a Hope Tech Infirmary 2x1. And these are both topped off with Hope Tech nose B4s, which will match the other side as well. On the port side, upper wing, you're going to see a Deimos all-in-one berth 2x1. They're going to be topped off with your shield generator. I use the SG 1800. And I've got a PB 175 Helion beam, but you must have the equipment plate to be able to place this on top of here. In the front of that, we're going to have a Hope Tech thruster. And to the side, we're going to have a Deimos Wing A port. Behind that, we're going to have our Hope Tech radiator and another glitch placement of the Hope Tech pipes 4. Behind those, we're going to have another 6830 engine. Behind our Hope Tech Companionway on the port side or left side, we're going to have a 900 THE3 tank. And then behind that, we're going to have a Deimos Hull A, topped off with a Hope Tech Pipes 4. Behind that, we're going to have a 6830 engine. On the underside of that, just to make this so that it's even with our 900T tank, we're going to have a Nova bracer. And they're both going to be connected to our reactor. The opposite side of that, we're going to have our Gamma Grav drive, the J52, topped off with Hope Tech pipes and finished with a 6830 engine. In front of our grav drive, we're going to have the HE3 tank and a Hope Tech Companionway. To the outside, on the starboard side or the left side, we're going to have a Hope Tech computer core 2x1. And that's going to connect to a Deimos Science Lab 2x1. And again, another PB 175 Helion beam, but you got to have the equipment plate. Matching our right side or port side, the starboard side is also going to have a Hope Tech thruster and the Deimos Wing A starboard. Again, I've placed a Hope Tech radiator and I've glitched in Hope Tech pipes 4. Just to remind you guys, when you place that, it won't work. So you have to hit the Z button and then tab, and it will place it. And both of those are going to connect to another 6830 engine. We're going to have a total of 6 engines on this ship. Gives you all the power that you need. We have that full 100 mobility. Turns out pretty good. Gives you a lot of power, all the power you're going to need. So from here, you should have all of the parts that you're going to need to build this ship. Alright, now that we've built all the parts that we're going to need here, we're going to go ahead and we're going to take our upper section. We're going to put on the hardest part first. Go ahead and highlight all of that. And you're going to drag this forward until you ensure that you have everything seated. And it'll only allow you to go so far. Once you go to the space that you're going to need, you're going to notice that the front 2 cowlings line up. And the back reactor will butt up against the Deimos companionway that was here in our middle section. Once you place that, everything will fall perfectly into place. From here, we're going to take our right wing or port wing, and we're going to connect it so you'll see it connects perfectly here, and it's going to connect our Stroud engine bracer right under our Hope Tech radiator. Okay? And again, you're going to notice the Hope Tech thrusters will line up straight. Next, we're going to take our left wing or our starboard wing, and we're going to do the same thing. Everything lines up. Looks perfect. Lastly, we're going to grab our bridge section. We're going to get our bridge here. It's not Hope Tech pipes got in the way. So we'll go back here, do our glitch, and they'll be in place. And there you have it. There is your build for the Red Baron. Awesome ship. One final touch, you'll see here my color scheme. For my color, I'm going to go with a saturation all the way in the red. My brightness is all the way in the red. And it will give me a beautiful red on the color 1 scheme. My color 2 scheme is all black. And the same thing with the color 3. All black. You can play with this however you prefer. Each piece is not exactly the same. I went through and messed with each individual one at first to kind of play with it so that it looked as cool as I could and as close to what I think the Red Baron's aircraft would look like. Now that we've got our ship built, let's go ahead and check out the inside. All right, now that we're inside the ship on our first level, go ahead here and we will show you our all-in-one berth on the first level. So go ahead and go upstairs. to our next level. Here, walk right into our armory.
Have any new books for me?
Right through the armory. Our workshop. So you go down our P-way to the left. We're gonna have our infirmary. And our birthing.
Excusez-moi.
Excusez-moi, monsieur. Going down the other P-way.
Very good to see you.
Got our computer room. And our laboratory.
I hope Cora doesn't get too much underfoot.
Moving back. Moving on up. Right here, we're gonna have our control room. And the first level of our bridge. Moving up to the bridge, this is what I was talking about, guys. You got the pilot seat or the captain's chairs in the middle. You got a clear view when you're looking out, as opposed to on the other bridges. Usually it's on the left. Gives you a little bit better view than you would have there. Here on the second level of the bridge, we have a walkway or entryway into the captain's quarters. Here is our beautiful view. Hope you all liked it. Now we'll go ahead and we'll take to the skies.
We're cleared for liftoff.
All right, guys, that's it from me. I appreciate it and hope you all enjoyed the build. I hope you enjoy the ship. This is my first video and hopefully one of many to come. If you liked how it went, please feel free to subscribe and I'll talk to you guys later.